guys, we're really close to the start of training camp. And that's when we're really going to be able to set our foot in the ground slowly but surely on our evaluations. There's a lot of evaluations going around. Nobody really knows. Every season, the box gets shaken. It's hard to really put your foot in the ground on a lot of stuff, except for Eichenberg. So we just got to kind of set some data points. And then we head into training camp. We start matching them up and see what direction it goes. It's going to be a while before we can say this or that. But a clear strength or issue or focus to the season. I don't know if you prepared for me to say this. It's going to be about the Dolphins' offensive line. Obviously, I've been saying it for years. I'm going to continue to say it. And Jonah Savaiinaea is going to be an absolute key. People have been talking for a while. Curtis, what about his contract? He's still not signed. It's like, whatever. It's not that big a deal. But some stuff that's been percolating around the league adds some complications to the situation. And it could delay his entry into camp because things could get a little dicey. He is now Nick Emonari, the safety, the super athletic safety. He's next on the list to get signed. And then right after that is Jonah. And these guaranteed monies that are popping up all over on these second round picks does add complications. It's got long reaching effects. There's some good, there's some bad. So I want to cover that today. So that's the deal. Anyway, guys, hit the like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed, hit the notification bell if you are subscribed. All that stuff helps me with the algorithm gods. They're voracious, and that makes Curtis's job easier and my sponsors happier. So if you can help me out, that I'd be much appreciated. And if you already are, I'm very, very grateful. Anyway, let's get into it. If you're not really hip, I didn't really pay attention to it until a couple of days ago. I saw it and it didn't really dawn on me. But now it looks like it's getting to be something serious. Jaden Higgins, 34th overall Houston Texans signed a guaranteed contract of $11.7 million. Carson Schwessinger, should be able to pronounce that, Cleveland Browns, he got a fully guaranteed contract of $11.8 million. And it looks like these second round picks, the Browns' other pick, the running back, didn't get guaranteed. But it looks like everybody in this second round, maybe because he's a running back and there's that caveat, you can go down at any moment. It's a very dangerous position. But it seems like a lot of these second round picks, they're holding out for guaranteed money. There's some good to that and some bad to that, but it does get a little dicey because the slower Jonah gets into play here, the longer it takes this offensive line to gel. He needs all the reps, and a slow start could cook McDaniel and his season. Not saying it's going to drag out to that point, but we got a holdout from Los Angeles Chargers second round rookie wide receiver Trey Harris because he wants an unprecedented number of guaranteed money. So this whole second round thing for the contracts is getting a little dicey. I think Jones is going to be around unless he wants more money than his slotted allowance would dictate, around 12, 11 something million. And we know that the purse strings have been pulled tight. We know that this team is tight cap. If you're not really on it, take a look at this graphic. You could see in 2025, we have only got 2.8 million allocated left to spend. But then if you look at 26, we got negative 24. These numbers can change. Obviously, if you move off certain guys like Hill, it's going to free it up next year. But there is a tight cap constriction going on. So there are good points to signing this guy long term, but there's also financial complications because there can be a domino effect. So if the second round players, they want guaranteed money, then you could be setting in all of your future picks to get guaranteed money in the second round. And then you might find the third rounds doing the same thing. there is good to knowing I'm spending this exact amount, and you can move guaranteed money around a ton, but it locks it in. If the guy doesn't pan out, like, or an Eichenberg or something, or whatever, you're stuck with this guy. Or a terrible injury that ends his career, you're locked in. And so these players, they look like they're banding together a little bit with their agents to add, and, in some ways they deserve it. This sport's brutal. And, you could be an unbelievable pick, go down Yatil Green, and then what do you get? Bubkus. So I understand it, but Greer, who has, I don't think it's his own choice, but is being forced to have this cap constraint, this guaranteed money is likely a reason why they're slow rolling his signing. So we've got to pay attention. Now, there's the good to it is, hey, I locked the guy in. I know what I'm getting. I can move that money around. But there's some downsides too. Another good side is, well, I give this guy guaranteed money. I know he's part of the team. It kind of takes some of the stuff off the table as far as knowing what your future is going to be, because this guy's going to be here mostly through guaranteed contracts. There is cap flexibility. With the guaranteed money, it's like funny money. I mean, you got to pay it at one point, but you can keep pushing it forward. But as you saw with us, we're tight. And then even when you go back to 2027, you can see we got 106 million, but only 42 guys on the roster. That can change a lot. But guarantees lock stuff in. And if you're pushing it back, say from this year and then maybe next year, now you're, say with Jonah's contract, now you might be putting a lot into this 106 million, and it constrains you. The nice part for the team is if it's just salary, then the guy doesn't perform, you get rid of him and you don't have to pay the salary. But now they're going to be locked in. So on the negative side, immediate cap strain. You can move this money around, but we're tight for 2 years, and it's going to kind of bunch up some of that money to this year. And it might restrict us from getting other guys that we need. We need more offensive linemen. I'd like to get a cornerback, but because we're so tight, this second round, a guaranteed money can start a domino. And again, these owners are banding together, and they might kind of put their foot down because they don't want to give guaranteed contracts to second round picks. And then next year, as I said, the third could be there as well. And that's not good. Now, honestly, Jonah, you spend a second and a third on. The kid's talented. You're not, going to move off him anytime soon unless there's epic disaster. So he's going to get his money, and he should get his money, and they're going to pay him his money. But these outside webbings of what does it mean for the third round and for the rest of the second round, and maybe Jonah's asking for 15 million. I don't know. Maybe certain players are saying, well, look at my positional value. I want a little bit more, kind of like what the receiver's doing with the Chargers. And so it does get sticky because once you open Pandora's box with these contracts, then, you could start seeing stuff all across the board, and the owners do not want to pay guaranteed money. Now, we need to invest elsewhere. There's no doubt about it. And right now, without giving Jonah his money, we're kind of unsure of where we are with the cap, and it might restrict us from getting the guys we want because we don't know how this thing is going to end. And again, it might tighten things up. So it does put us in a problem. I don't think it's a big problem because you're going to sign a guy long-term. You spend a second and third. He's really talented. But what is Jonah doing in the background? How much does he want? And, you got Daniels coming off the Achilles. You got Jackson, who's got a second injury coming off another injury. And you don't want this kid, Jonah, to slow roll his way in because he's playing another position and he is a rookie. And, another side to the ball, but he played tackle, and getting a feel for the leverage and power of NFL D tackles, he needs as many reps as he can get. And chemistry at the offensive line is huge. And there's no two-a-days. You're cutting down your preseasons. So every day this guy misses, it can be a big deal. If it's a couple of days, it's not a problem. But if this thing drags on a week or two, I'm not saying it is. but you never know. This could then create a snowball effect. And I was talking to somebody, I can't remember. Oh, yeah, Shake. I had the interview, and he said that Irsay, the Colts owner, died and he was beloved. So, I don't like Jones starting over there. That could be a little bit of a problem, and you're on the road against a fiery team. You need everything. You cannot lose that Colts game. And I'm not saying this is going to, but this is not getting us in the best position the longer it drags out. There's a lot going on here in the NFL, a lot of things changing. And if we know the hit rates on these draft picks, you could be eating a lot of money for players that don't pan out. Think about how many players we had, in the second and third round that didn't pan out, and now you're guaranteed their contracts. So I don't get too crazy yet. Jonah could sign tomorrow, but clearly there's a lot going on here. And this kid, he's got 2 weeks before day one. We'll see, but I would keep my eye on this. Clearly he'll be here, but this offensive line is going to need everything it can as far as reps and building chemistry and health to get this team where it needs to be, or else this could be ugly. If this offensive line gets some injuries or slow rolls that chemistry, it could snowball. Hopefully it doesn't, not saying it will, but pay attention to this contract with Jonah and see what's going on. Still not worried. A couple days before camp, it might start. So anyway, guys, that's the whole deal. Curtis saying, be well, go Fins. Curtis out. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.